Happy to have you. All right, it's Nick Atkin once again for the highlight of every fight week, which is weigh-ins recap. There's always some craziness, and not one, not two, but six fighters missed hydration today, failed hydration, including Akbar Abdullaev, who is, of course, in the main event on Saturday. A lot of ramifications for that. We'll get into it all. I'm pleased to be joined though by Connor, my guy. What's up, Connor? Thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm tired. I've been working all
Yeah.
day. From we had the face-offs today for Friday Fights '93 at Lumpini,
Mm.
and then I went straight from there to back to the hotel for the Fight Night 27 weigh-ins, and here we are. Haven't stopped going since about 12 hours ago. So we're we're still going. We got
Yeah.
plenty to do. We got to discuss all this drama. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. NG says looks like Lineker and Kulodem is off. Damn, I didn't know that.
I hope not.
Uh, I hope not. No, but I heard that. I kind of overheard that John was, I think, outside of that 105%. The magic number. Uh, that was before he even went and drank a load of water.
Mm.
So he very much well could be the case. But that's a shame. NG, let me know where you heard that. Um, but yes, what's with the late stream today, Louis? Oh well, I've been working all day. I needed a bit of a break after the weigh-ins. I think weigh-ins finished about 8 here. Then I wrote my story, finished about 9 o'clock. Uploading video stuff all day. So yeah, I just took a little break, and then I had a Wi-Fi breakdown in my hotel room, which is necessitating me to do it on my phone. So apologies if the quality is bad. But Connor's here; he can cover for me if I start
Mm.
going all blurry. But Connor, immediate thoughts to that?
Good way to start the year. We've already title fight is in, like, already missed weight.
Yeah,
So typical one.
yeah,
My
yeah. I
bold
don't know.
prediction is already in mud.
What was your prediction?
That he was
I
gonna beat
forgot.
Tang Kai and win the title. Now he
Right.
can't.
No, I cannot. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're out for that one.
Yeah.
But
Big
yes.
surprise.
Yeah. I was surprised because as far as I know, he doesn't normally have problems, and
No.
he seemed to be a little bit bemused as well by what was going on. Um, Give me the rundown. What's on? What's off? Chester's asking. I don't know actually. Um, I think it's still going on. I was just down in the lobby earlier, and people were still filing past me left and right to go and try and pass again. Um, Beyond kickboxing, thank you. Good to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. One Lumpini FC. What's up? Good to see you as well. Chummy Boy says, "Is it a one card without hydration stuff at this point?" No, it is not. Is it, Connor? I think kind of used to it now.
Pretty much every main event there's something going wrong for like
Yes,
quite a while.
yes. Uh, yeah, I was talking to Giuliano before and yesterday or yeah Wednesday we were saying so who's going to fail this time, and we thought it might be the other title fight because Denise didn't sound too confident
Mm.
when I asked her. Maybe she was just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there was something lost in translation, but we were slightly worried there. She was absolutely fine. So was Rasahina, and then I didn't really expect, this one to happen. But it seems to always
Yeah.
be the title fights, doesn't it? It's
Yep.
weird. But
This is the first time in quite a while that it was actually the challenger that missed, though.
yeah, so
Surprisingly.
so someone told me this stat. I think it's Ben Askren was the last time, and not he didn't fail, his opponent did. forgot the guy's name already, but it was a Russian guy in Manila. The last MMA fight where the champion has passed, but the challenger hasn't. There's been a few over the last 2 years or so where the champion has been stripped or lost the belt on the scale. I could think of John Lineker,
Yeah.
of course, and I think there's been a few more. Cameron Abasov, I remember. Yeah, definitely. There's been some in Muay Thai as well. Smilla Sundell, kickboxing. You had John DiBella, Rod Tang in Muay Thai.
Super luck.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm just saying champions. Yeah, but
Yeah.
for challengers, yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, Superlek was the last Muay Thai challenger. Failed, but yeah, it's pretty rare. It's a weird one where the challenger often passes and the champion doesn't. But
Yeah.
here we are. Hey ho. Not great. It's a shame. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I can't
I think
understand how Lineker keeps missing. He's so small. Like,
yeah.
he's just so bulky, I guess.
Well, I thought that it is. Yeah, there's a story of the fight makes a good point. Struggling past the holidays. That is a real thing. I mean, Dante Leon told me, in our interview that he had to make a lot of sacrifices, when he got this match, because normally we all like to celebrate in the holidays, don't we? And it's just human. But he said he had to be very strict. Luckily, it's the catch weight, and normally he's lightweight anyway, so I think 180 was no problem for him. He weighed in on fully dressed, so I don't think it was a tough thing for him to make weight. I'm sure he wasn't cutting anything, but he probably had to put down that second slice of whatever Christmas joy he was looking to tuck into. But yes, I think it might just be a little bit of that. Also, you had a couple of debutants, I think, who missed, Cody Jerome and Parham. But Parham is weird because he has had 6 fights on Friday fights, right? And I think they're all been at the same weight, 145. But this time he was way over. Yeah, I kind of heard that he'd taken some creatine, and that seemed to be the issue, and he was quite heavy yesterday, so perhaps it shouldn't have been a surprise. But I will just go through the rest of the fails quickly for anyone who doesn't know. I'm not going to share anything on the screen because I'm tethered to my phone, so I'm worried of kind of slowing things down. I'll just talk, so apologies for the lack of visual aids. But yes, Akbar Abdullaev, Aaron Kanate, who was going to fight Enk Orgil. Then you had Kulabdam and Lineker both missed for their fight against each other. Cody Jerome was going to fight Luke Lisi. He failed 3 times, I think. And then there's one more. Parham, yeah. I think that's all of it. So 6 is quite a throwback, Connor, to the days of when Prime Video first came in, I feel like.
Yeah, and like everyone missed.
Yeah. Yeah, those first 2 or 3 events when they opened up the weigh-ins to mugs like me to come and film people in their underpants on the scales, it seemed like everyone was just missing left, right, and center. It was quite a new thing. They used to have different rules, obviously, where you could the weigh-ins were conducted in privacy mostly, and you could come back even on the day of the fight and pass again and do the catch weight. But yeah, ever since they've gone to this 3-hour window type system, I feel like it's been getting better, hasn't it, over time? There's always a few. There's some outlying events where you do get a bunch, but it seems to have been contained to 2 or 3, roughly. 6 is, to me, feels like a big number. Do you feel the same?
It's pretty big. Reminds me of the old days when it's like pretty much everyone was missing just like all the time, and title fights were falling apart.
Yeah. Well, story of the fight, good point here again. Says, give a little more leeway for debuts just because it's different than most orgs. Not exonerated, but I do get it. Yeah, if you don't know the hydration test, you're pretty much guaranteed to fail the first time unless you are competing at your walk around weight, or you just got a nutritionist who's done their homework. And not knocking the debutantes who fail, but it is a recurring theme, and I think there are two ways to pass in one. It's you either compete at your walk around weight, or you hire an expert with experience in the hydration test, and we all know who we're talking about, the piss master himself, Peter Miller, who I think had another clean sweep today, and it was easy. He was done. I've never seen Pete so relaxed, actually. I caught up with him in the morning, and normally, well, not normally, but every now and then he might be a little bit on edge, like worried someone won't make it, but he was very confident this time, and I think all of his four passed within the first 20 minutes, something like that. So that's another advert, turning the podcast into an advert again for condition nutrition. But who did he have today? Rambolek was fine. Luke Lucy had the easiest I think he's ever had it, he told me. Who else did he have? I'm sure he's had a bunch more, but definitely those two from the top of my head. I'm sure he's got some people on Friday as well. So Connor,
He's
it's
got
just
people on like
common
every
sense.
event. Yeah,
He's got people all over the world. But if you're a one fighter, Connor, why do you not just get good
just
condition
sign with
nutrition?
him. It's
Yeah,
guaranteed. You're going to make weight. You're going to make hydration, and then you're going to get a bonus if you win impressively. Like, it's a no-brainer.
yes, it's absolute no brainer.
I
I'm
don't think
just
he
looking at
charges
it
like
so far.
ridiculous amount.
No, he doesn't at all. So um, yeah, get with him. Would you rather fail or pass? But good to see 5 of the bites. I think it was have made it. I'll try and share on screen. If it starts slowing down, let me know, and I'll cut it. But yeah, maybe we can just see what didn't uh, get
So I have a
affected by it.
question. With
Yeah.
Akbar missing missing hydration, missing weight. So this is now gonna be a non if it goes ahead, it'll be a non-title fight. And if Tang Kai loses, he'll still be the champion. Is that how that works?
Yes.
That's gonna be weird.
It's a free hit for Tang Kai.
Yeah.
It does put a bit of a dampener on the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you have it's happened a few times now. You've got these main events where there's essentially not much at stake, right? Like I think it was Rasulov and Oak. It happened then, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Oak could have won the belt, but
Yeah. It was also a terrible fight.
it was, yeah. Yeah, it feels like it's happened a couple of times recently, so it's a shame. Yeah, Luke looked smooth sailing. Story of the fight. Move up one division and adjust with cheeseburgers and beer, says Vegan Craig. Well, another thing that Pete provides as well is not to harp on about him, but you're not just getting his expertise to safely make weight and hydration, but he's also good at advising fighters on what weight class they should actually be in by analyzing data, and he helps them make good career decisions. And I think some fighters are still fighting in the wrong weight class because they think they need to have this advantage, but it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, Nong O is going down now to flyweight, so some exciting news coming there. I cannot reveal it, but I think there are a lot of fighters who could actually compete in different weight class. They don't know it yet, but not if they don't have someone like Pete. It doesn't just have to be Pete. There are other people who can do this successfully, but I might have fallen asleep. When is that? Am I asleep? I'm close to it, but I'm awake for now. I'm just run through this card. Try and keep this show to an hour or so. Yes, I'm very tired, but Tang Kai, Akbar Abdullaev. So Akbar is out. Oh, not out. He's as far as we know, that fight's going to go ahead. Kuladem and Lineker both missed weight, and who knows?
I really hope that still goes ahead. That's like a
Well,
huge
the
fight.
problem it is, yeah. The problem was John was he failed hydration and then he missed weight on the first attempt, so
Hmm.
that's never a good sign. If I
No.
think if you fail but you're under, you can maybe claw it back. And I thought Kulabdem may sneak it because he was about a pound and a bit under, so you have a little bit of leeway. But John would have had to go away and drink water just to because he was badly over as well. So he probably would have added like 4 or 5 pounds, and then he might exceed that 105% limit. That would be a huge shame. Denise and Aliona, luckily that one is still intact. So if I'm one, I might switch that to the main event now because you've got Stamp there as well doing the meet and greet, and you can close the show with the big face off between Stamp and the interim champ.
But is it the best fight to put at the end of the night?
This fight, I'm sad to say, is now going to be a bit of a damn squib. Tang Kai and Akbar. I was
Yeah.
very looking forward to it, but it's going to be flat. If Tang Kai wins, great, but it doesn't really mean anything because, like you said, if he loses, he doesn't lose his belt. If Akbar
Yeah.
wins, it's going to be awkward as hell because it's like, okay, he's just beating the champion, but he's not the champion. So
In terms of entertainment, it should still be very fun to watch. But
yes,
just the outcome is going to be awkward unless Tang just like knocks him out.
but I'm just putting my promoter hat on. Do I want to end the card on that note when I have an option to end it on a different note?
Hmm.
I get it. You with that Oaken Russellov one, they didn't have another option. I think to end the card, that was the only title fight. But if you have another one and it's got Stamp kind of involved in the mix, I think I'm just saying that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Especially if this Kulab Dam Lineker fight is off as well, because now you've lost that buffer of all out war in the middle of it. So I would do quick switcheroo. Let me know what you think of that in the chat. But carrying on, Luke and Cody, don't know if this is going to happen yet. Luke's team were they were watching. I think Cody came in 3 times. They were watching every time, and they were very eagerly. I wonder whether they're going to insist on. I'm sure Luke will fight, but he's in a precarious position. He doesn't want to lose another fight,
Yeah.
especially to a guy who is going to be
Debuting.
heavier. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've seen in one, it doesn't really matter sometimes if you miss weight and you beat someone, you still kind of
People
tend
get
to
title
leapfrog
shots
them.
off of missing weight, like
People get and they also
yeah,
get rankings. They take your ranking spot, things like that.
which that shouldn't be a thing.
Shouldn't be, but Mahmoudi went up last month, and I guess Dennis missed weight too. So
Yeah, they
it
both
sort of
miss weight.
yeah, but yeah, I don't like to see it too much.
Yeah.
So if I'm Luke, I did see Luke in 7-Eleven actually, and he seemed pretty happy. So I guess he's getting a bit of extra money, spending it on some treats in 7-Eleven. But hey ho, we'll see what happens. Tommy and Dante. Tommy was I think he felt a little bit worried he may have some trouble because I don't think Tommy's gonna make 170 again. I think by the sound of what he's telling me, he's much keener on going to 185. That's more natural for him. So I
That's
think,
Ty's division, right?
I think he
Yeah.
would, if he wins here, I think he's going to try and go for Ty. So he was very relieved he made it. And I think it was not a bad cut. It was tough for him. He was not easy, shall we say, but he made it. So kudos to him. Wada and Sanjar, a little bit of trouble, both of these guys. Wada failed the first time hydration, but very narrowly. It was 0.252. Then he came back, it was fine. And Sanjar came in, he didn't appear until I think the final hour. But then he was fine. I was a little worried for him, but I think he's quite a big, very big for a strawweight. To be honest, he's I think 5'6". Normally your strawweight's 5'4", a little bit. Yeah, he is
Very
5'6",
big
bang
and
on.
very dynamic.
Yeah, we had a chat
Yeah.
about an hour ago downstairs. He's a very nice guy. He's got good taste. He says he likes my videos. So, I can't blame him. Yeah.
Yeah. Who
But I'm
doesn't?
glad that. Yeah, who doesn't? Glad that fight is staying on the card. Rambolek and Parham. This one I think might not happen because
No.
Parham
There's
was.
no way this is happening.
Yeah, he was. I kind of heard he was 160 pounds yesterday because he had a lot of creatine. I don't know why he's done that. Kudos to Rambolek for making weight easily. I think he's had problems in the past, so good on him bringing in Peter. Aaron Kanate, I was a bit surprised by him missing. He's been fine as far as I know his first two fights, and it's a shame because he'd had two really tough contenders in his division. Gasanov and Akbar. Doesn't get much harder than that in featherweight, and now he's got a bantamweight. And I love Enk Orgel. I think he's a monster, but you would think if Kanate's gonna show everyone what he's made of, this is perfect fight for it. A smaller guy, although Enk Orgel looks gigantic, he's so shredded. But
to be honest, I think Ank is still gonna just ragdoll him. I think he's just too physically strong.
I don't know. I love Aaron. He's such a nice dude, and I really want to see him fight someone who doesn't just drag him down to the ground and sit on him. Like the last fight, I want to see what he can do. I feel like Ankor is going to
That's
probably
probably
do that.
gonna happen.
Yeah. So,
but Kayate really needs to win here. If he doesn't win here, he'd probably be on the verge of getting cut, I'd imagine.
Yeah, which would suck because I think he showed a lot of improvement. He moved to Phuket and he's been full time at Phuket Fight Club, working with Leo and Marlon, and he did it as good as he could do against Gasanov, but hopefully, going 0-3 is not great, but we've seen people with bigger losing streaks stick around in one and turn things around. Like Rui Botello had some tough times before, and it's not automatically like he's going to get cut, but we'll see. I think he'll be fine. I don't think Enk Orgel will refuse to fight, and
no,
yeah,
I can't see him refusing to fight anyone.
No, it's just an absolute monster. Yeah.
He'd fight Anatoly.
Yeah, he would. The bastard, absolute crazy bastard. Love him. Chihiro and Mengbo, all good there. I was a little worried Mengbo would struggle because she's had issues with making weight at atom and straw weight. When she first came into one, she was on atom weight, and I think she missed a couple times, but they still let her fight. That was before the Prime Video era. When that came in, she kind of had to move up to straw, and then she just got completely ragdolled by Ayaka, I think, and it was a shame. It kind of put a halt to her momentum.
Yeah, she probably would have got a title shot if she would have beat Ayaka, but Ayaka does what Ayaka does.
Yeah, 100%. I'm intrigued to see this one because, she looked in great shape, Mengbo, and she's got legit one-punch knockout power, like we were saying on the preview with me and Michael. So I'm intrigued to see if Chihiro can just take her down, she's going to do what she does, right? But if Mengbo can stuff those takedowns, let's see, because we haven't really seen what Chihiro can do on the feet, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
She's kind of just dragged Noel and Jihin down and wrestled them completely for 3 rounds. So the size difference, the height difference is pretty big on this. Mengbo is 5'4". Chihiro's gonna be not even 5 foot, 4'11". So we'll see. And then Sewer Black and Dimitri both made weight. Good on them. Bantamweight Muay Thai banger to open the card, no problems. All right, that's the rundown. So 6 fails in all.
Yeah.
Not great, is it?
No. Could be worse. Could always be worse.
I'm trying to think of what's worse. There was one card I went to in Singapore, which was just disastrous. It was, I think, either September or November 2023. I think Haggerty missed, Bibiano missed. Maybe I can find it somewhere.
I think that was the November card from like 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Well, Tom and I would have done there it is, the old SCMP blog. I love those blogs. Yeah, we really did a great job, if I may say so myself. Yeah. So Cameron Abasov lost his title on the scale. I'm not going to share this on screen.
Rod Tang almost missed.
Yeah, Rod Tang almost missed. Stephen Lohman missed weight as well. So there were 4, I think, and one of them involved the title, the champ losing his belt on the scale. Bibiano and Lohman missed weight to fight each other in what should have been a number 1 contenders match for the bantamweight belt, and Haggerty missed for his first bantamweight fight, which
first time moving up, which was
yeah,
very weird.
Crazy, very weird indeed. But that was only 4. This is 6.
Yeah.
So this may be the craziest one I can think of.
Yeah.
There was one last year. I remember. I don't remember when it was. All I remember is Man United lost 4-3 to Chelsea, and I watched that while I was waiting for all the fighters to come back in. There's a few of them missed. Dead Wang Lek missed. Song Chai Noi missed, I think. There were about 5 or 6 on that. When was that? That was April last year. So April 2024, one championship.
That was Ursel Nicholas for the first fight, right?
Yes. I feel like there were a few misses on that card, but that was only 4. Yeah, I found my piece from Sportskeeda. One fight night 21, was it? Yeah. So 6 is definitely above average.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember the Manila card from like a few years back because no one missed weight and it was such like a rarity.
What, the Anatoly Dorito one?
Yeah, I think it was that one. It was like no one missed weight and like they stopped it like an hour and a half early and everyone was just like kind of shocked.
I'm trying to remember that.
I'm pretty sure it was that back when they called it one on Prime Video 5 or whatever.
Because there were two cards
events
that time, right?
Yeah, this was.
Yeah, I remember when Bo missed weight, definitely, and then
that was opening the card for the Asia card.
Yeah, Supalek and Pampayak both missed for the final. So yeah, those were the days. Yeah, when you had 2 events,
2 mega events.
Yeah,
one day.
We'd have
love those days.
Yeah, I just remember it was impossible. You'd have 2 weigh-ins, 2 face-offs, essentially like 2 media days. It was just crazy. I don't know how we did it.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty grueling day.
I remember being completely wiped out, just defeated after because there was two two of those double headers pretty close to each other as well. Singapore when Lee beat Abasov, that one we were just talking about, the 4
Yeah, I
fights
think it
missed, and
was
then
like 2 or 3 weeks apart.
yeah, just two. I remember
Yeah.
it was very close. So we had that, and then that, and I was just a shell of a man after that. I remember completely destroyed. It's very taxing. These
Yeah.
so thanks for one not doing those anymore. But
Yeah. I loved it as a fan, but it'd be grueling if you had to work and cover
oh,
that. Like that's an
yeah,
all
those
day for days.
yeah, you'd like get to the arena at 7 a.m. and then you do 5 hours of fights. Then you Tom and I would go find a spot to. Well, then you got your press conference, and then you'd go upload all your stuff, write a couple of articles in a cafe or something, Starbucks, and then you'd just walk straight back to the arena, do it all again. It's crazy,
And then there's the
absolutely crazy.
aftermath. There's so much to discuss, like 20 some fights.
That's the problem because you want to discuss what's just happened on this,
But
and there
then you
was
just
some
gotta
big
go right
talking points.
back.
Yeah, and you always kind of forget what happened, and
Yeah.
but there
And then
was
you
a lot of
forget what
things.
card and who won, what fights happened.
Yeah,
Pretty
it is
problematic.
not great. Glad they don't do it anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you kind of get it with the Friday fights and the
Yeah,
fight
but
night the next day.
it's not the same.
Yeah, but there have been some where it's like, do I have they? There was one I think they did last year, 10 pole on a Friday and then a fight night next day,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
was
like,
the Ursel when Ursel
yeah,
fought
yeah.
Nicholas. They did the temp poll on the same day.
I was like, come on, guys! Like, we got so
Yeah,
much to talk about
that
for
they could have
Friday.
spaced that out like at least 2 weeks apart, like even a week.
Yeah, yeah. But then they started doing the 10 pole on the Friday the week before, which was okay because you just bring everyone to Thailand a few days early. It was fine in terms of like staff, officials, and things like
Yeah,
that. But it's all good. It's a good problem to have, you know.
yeah.
We're
I
all enjoying the
remember
shows.
like a while ago when it was like Rod Tang versus Super Lek temp poll, Singapore card, October fight night, like three
Yeah,
weeks, just like back to back to back, and you had to go
yeah.
to Bangkok, then Singapore, then back to Bangkok. That would have
Oh,
been rough.
crazy times. But
Yeah.
we, I'm gonna hit the chat. LC did conditions, guys. Do it. Yeah, they clean sweep. I think he only had two today. Uh, I'm just checking again. I think yeah, he just had Rambalek and who we already mentioned him, didn't we? Luke, yeah, Luke Lucy. But I think he's probably got a bunch on tomorrow too, or maybe he doesn't. I didn't actually. I'm not sure he does. I didn't see him at the face-offs today, but he doesn't always go to Friday fights face-offs. So yeah, Pete's making a habit of the clean sweeps. This hydration test is a bunch of BS, Steve says. I get that people have died by weight cutting, but that's the risk they take. Should not change the rules this much over that. It is a tough one. The stance I take on it is just there's no point crying about it, right? We know what it is. The fighters know what it is. If the fighters fail, it's on them.
It's proven you can do it because if
Yeah,
every single fighter missed weight every time, then there's definitely a problem. But
yeah.
fighters are still making it. They just have
So
to
it's
figure out the system.
yeah, it's on them.
It's very
It's like
frustrating though for the fans when these fights fall through.
there's a there's a flip side to that though, because I think one tends to do their best to make the fight still go ahead. So the
True.
fighters still get to fight. They still get to make their money. Fans still get to enjoy it. It's just you kind of automatically get the onslaught of, oh, I thought one dove weight cutting, which in a way the system works because it's stopping people.
It's stopping weight bullies, essentially.
Yeah, I think there's a few who can still do it, but largely the amount of weight that people cut in one, I think, is lower than you would get in anywhere else. Which,
Yeah, UFC, some fighters cut like a ridiculous amount of weight.
well, you see them on the scale and they can
Yeah.
barely stand up, right? And some of them don't even make it to the scale. And you had the thing with PFL last late last year with someone in a coma or something from a weight cut. And I think you have to give one some credit in that regard that they
They're
are.
trying.
I don't I can only think of maybe Petanong who had issues from a weight cut, and that was kind of, I don't know what was going on there, but maybe you could say Mikey, but that was more the lungs. Um, there's not kind of life threatening. Well, I know Mikey. They said he nearly died from the.
Yeah.
Well, he could have
But
nearly died if he
that
died.
was
Yeah,
ridiculous. He tried to make for a title
yeah.
fight and he was like what, like 30 pounds over?
He wasn't like at 170 like everyone was saying. He was, I think, 145. So I don't think it was massive. He
Oh,
just
okay.
he did everything he normally does. Just the difference was, one, he had been drinking electrolytes, which you don't want to do. Two, he tried his usual breathing exercises, but were at altitude and it tore up his lungs. So I'm racking my brain and I cannot think of someone kind of fainting on the scale, passing out type of situation in one. So if you genuinely care about fighters' safety, hydration test is a slight improvement. Has it solved weight cutting? That's a two-sided coin,
The
whatever
only
you want to
thing that will
say.
ever solve weight cutting is if fighters decide to just fight at their natural weight. But they all want the advantage, so it's never going to happen.
It's it's never going to happen. It's kind of possibly the only solution if you, but you have to take what comes with it, which is there's going to be a bunch of fights affected every time because it's just natural. But if you are okay with that and you're still going to probably see the fights, it's usually quite rare that the fight won't actually go ahead at a catch weight. It does happen every now and then, but normally it stays together unless you've had a couple times where the fighter will refuse, like Ham Sohee and Itsuki, out of principle. But most of the time, fighters just want to fight, right? And that's another tangent. I don't really like that. The one thing I would say I don't like about the system, or I think could be improved, is are the punishments severe enough to deter people from trying to gain an edge?
Was
If
it like a
you
20% fine?
something like that,
Yeah.
yeah, 20%, and
And then you can't get a bonus, but
can't get a bonus. That is a big punishment, but the thing they need to stop doing, I think, is getting people, like we was just saying now, like a title shot off a weight
yeah,
miss or a rankings spot off a weight miss, because that's
that's
not punishment.
ridiculous.
That is showing a fighter, hey, well, I could miss weight, but I might knock them out, and then it's still going to improve my career prospects.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sense of, well, no, actually, you're still going to fight, but you're not going to gain anything from it.
Because then people just be like, okay, I'm going to come in 10 pounds heavy, knock this guy out, and then get a title shot.
Yeah, we cannot have that.
Yeah.
This is the big flaw, I think. So I I uh, I don't hate hydration testing at all. I think it does have positives. I would like to see. I still think you can always improve it in certain ways, but there's a net for me. There's still a net gain positive. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on that. Let me know what you think. What do you think, Connor? Do you like it?
I like the idea. of hydration tests. I mean, they're the only people that are trying this. Like, you look at UFC and other organizations, and you see some fighters who are just like, you can see it in their eyes, and they're just like, look like they're on the verge of death. You never see that with one. You know, everyone's always healthy. It's just the problem of so many people missing hydration, losing belts, losing title opportunities. It's like you can see both sides.
Story of the fight says I'm on the money, which is rare, but it's rare that I'm on the money. Yeah. But that's just my honest opinion. I'm sure people will look at this and say I'm just shilling or whatever. I genuinely, I've had lengthy conversations with Dr. Warren, who's you may see if you tune in and watch the weigh-in streams. He's the guy who picks up the piss and tests it. And I had very long conversations with him several times about pros and cons of this, and he genuinely believes in it. And you've got to remember, yeah, someone died. It wasn't that long ago. I think it was 10-year anniversary, very recently, something like that. And I know people who were on that card with that fighter. So a lot of the people who still work as company were all there. So can you imagine going through that, right? And not wanting to do something to stop that ever happening again? It's probably something you would never forget in your life. And if it means a few fights get not scrapped, not
It's
even
more
scrapped,
important they're healthy. It won't matter if they're dead.
Yeah,
right?
It will not. And we can see something like that is a huge shitstorm PR wise, right? And deservedly so. If that happens on your watch, you open yourself up to the scrutiny that comes with it. And one is the model of financial is based on investment. So you don't want to have things like that happening when you're trying to raise money from investors because they won't go anywhere near you. And I think you saw why the PFL didn't really that wasn't made public, the fighter in the coma, and why would you want to shout about that from the roof? It's not something anyone wants to hear about. There's enough negative stereotypes about combat sports already. Having people die and in comas isn't great. At the end of the day, Connor, right? This is my opinion. It's all about the spirit of competition. Not to sound lame, but yeah, we shouldn't be having people nearly killing themselves just for our entertainment.
No.
They're already doing that in the ring, but like let them get there safely and then. So I don't mind if it means a few fights become catch weights. I think
as long as the fights still go ahead, I mean, you're still getting the fight.
Yeah,
it's not the same with title fights and number one contendership, but it's better than nothing.
Of course, I would like to see one explore what Friday fights do, and that's just booking catch weights at the beginning more often. And I think people will say, "Oh, well, they book closer to the events," but fight night cards are often booked a month out. A lot of the fights on them and things like that. I would just say, all right, well, let's just do a 140 catch weight if we've got two guys at 135. Like Dennis and Mahmoudi should have been a catch weight because you got two guys who are, for one reason or another, going to struggle to make that on a month's notice. Mahmoudi's gigantic for a flyweight, and Dennis is 39 years old. And just scientifically, you cannot cut down to that in a month. So I know you want to have your rankings and your divisions, but I don't think the rankings matter too much in one.
And they never update them. Like, it takes them years to update them. And then some debutant will just get a title shot and leapfrog the division.
Yeah, and I like that they have the divisions. I would like to see them do more with the rankings and the divisions, but if I have no problem having a two flyweights fight at whatever 140, whatever it is, just go £5 up for a catch weight if you're booking them on short notice. It's not gonna upset me. They do it Friday fights. You look at any card in Friday fights, it's like catch weight, catch weight, catch
Yeah,
weight. There'll be
it's all
like a
catch weights.
strawweight fight. Yeah, and you you very rarely see anyone miss weight on those cards. It might be like one, if anything. And I think that just will stop the negative stream of people going, one so weight cutting, LOL,
Mm.
My 2 cents again. But Anonymous has the flip side. Weight cutting is a core part of combat sports. It's the fighter's fault if they get hurt cutting a ridiculous amount of water to make weight they themselves agreed on. I see that point, and then, but Connor, I feel like you can't stop these people doing it. Like they're gonna try every time to get
Oh,
whatever
they're gonna
advantage they
try.
can. Yeah,
Every
who would?
every fighter wants that advantage. That's why no one fights at their natural weight class. And then if they do, then they're fighting at bantamweight, but they're really fighting like someone who could fight at lightweight. Like,
Yeah, well, obviously there are so many things to this. It's a big issue for a reason. Story of the fight says at least one's exploring options to make things better. I agree. I think they deserve some credit for trying something, right? I think they could still maybe do. I think you could have a pound allowance or something, or
yeah,
a point 10. I don't know how much point 10 on a hydration is, but it like Tatsumitsu Wadate was 1.0252 and the cutoff is 250. I think if you're within point one or whatever, so if it was up to 260, maybe that's fine, or 2.255, whatever. Have a little allowance. I don't
that
think
would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, so many times you see these. They're close. They're close.
They just
So
miss by like that much.
yeah. I mean, there are some who come in. And they're like 0.3, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You're
And then they
nowhere
weigh
near.
in, it's like
Yeah,
7 pounds over. Like, yeah, you're
yeah.
gone.
So I think that would help. Yeah, just a little bit of leeway here or there. Story of the fight again. Talking sense. The reality is there's no silver bullet. It's a complex subject. It's going to continue to evolve. Yeah, this having fighters die is a way of having your promotion die. RC says. Melissa, hello, what's up? Weight bullying still exists, Wade says. 45ers says that is comical. I don't know whether weight bullying means the idea of weight bullying is comical or. I mean, Pete talks about this a lot because, Nico Carrillo gets called a weight bully, but he follows the rules, and he makes weight every time. Is there such a thing as weight bullying, Connor?
If you're making the weight, I mean, technically when you weigh in, you weigh the same as the other guy. But if you're missing weight every time, then yeah, you're weight bullying in that sense.
Well, there's a lot of.
But yeah, it's all subjective. Like everyone has their own opinion about it.
Yeah. And I feel there are some times in one where a fighter will just not really try to make weight that hard because, again, they know the punishment's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Like Rod Tang would probably not try as hard to make it for a kickboxing fight because
his purse isn't nearly as high.
Yeah, and his belt isn't on the line, and he's lost the belt now. So I mean, even when the belt was on the line, he messed up. But
yeah,
He got
That's
closer
pretty
than he
impressive.
did. He was very badly overweight for the Puech fight, but he was close for the Jacob fight. Did Rifteen make weight? Shinji asks. So I have no idea because they do the face-offs before the weigh-ins um, on those Friday fights, and then they don't let me in to see the weigh-ins. So I don't actually know.
It's a little suspect.
I don't even think it's suspect. They just, I know they do the weigh-ins in a tiny room, and there's like 10 people in there already, and they don't want a bunch of reporters in there. I would just obviously love it if they did it in the normal media room in Lumpini, which they do for the tempos. And I think people want to know this stuff and see it, but they do release the results, and there are people who miss weight, so it's not all fixed. And I think they sent around a card earlier, updated card, but it's all in Thai, so I can't
Yeah.
actually read it. But I'll try and get an English version and find out if anyone missed weight. I don't know if um, Matsudo missed. Sorry, Shinji. Uh, I normally get an English version when I'm not here. I'll chase it up, but because I'm so busy after the face-offs, I come straight back for these weigh-ins. So the fight night weigh-ins. So I don't really even have time to chase up that stuff. I just there's not enough time in the day. Really, there's not. Right. NG saying, I'm surprised in Denver people were just walking in and out of the room. That's the weigh-in room. Well, yeah, these fight night cards they let a lot more people in, right, for the weigh-ins and for numbered cards, especially Friday fights just don't normally do public weigh-ins. They do it on tentpole. I would like to see them do public weigh-ins. Yeah, I think they can't hurt with transparency, and it's good content. I think fans like to see. So I definitely see a lot of interest in when I publish that stuff. Right. Any more comments on this subject? It's always a fun debate, Connor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weigh-ins and things. Yeah. I hope that I'm sure some people will say, "Oh, I'm just chilling for one." Others will say, "I'm being harsh on one." I'm generally just trying to be objective and fair and see both sides of it. So
You can never you can never
yeah.
please everyone. There's always
No,
gonna be haters and supporters.
absolutely. Send you the English version in my Oh, thank you, NG. Let me have a little look. Oh, jeez. There you go. Right. Well, I got no idea if anyone actually missed because, like we were saying earlier, there's so many catchweights already. It's hard to even see. I'd have to compare with the old version, and I just haven't got the inclination now to do that. So if anyone knows, if anyone missed, please say in the chat. But thank you, NG, for sending me that. I will have a little perusal of it tomorrow morning, probably. Um, Wade says they should do weigh-ins a week out, then do it daily until fight night. A week out, or if you need to fight at 125, you need to be 125, 130. They could, but people don't even get here till Tuesdays sometimes. They
That
do check
sounds
your
too
weight.
problematic for everyone involved.
Yeah, yeah. They do they do hydration tests on the Wednesdays and weight checks. So a day before the weigh-ins, and that you normally can tell if someone's in trouble by then, uh, if you know what you're looking at in terms of data. Um, But this is the thing. That's why again you should have an expert who knows these things, because I've heard of some. I don't want to name anyone, but that sometimes a fighter will be panicking on the day of the weigh-in, and they'll see a number on a scale and they'll want to do something drastic. But if you just stay calm and follow advice of an expert, it's easy. And I think you know who I'm talking about. But yes. I just think for such an important matter, you should seek expert advice. Like some fighters will bring in a nutritionist with them, but they've never done a hydration test, right? And
That's
then
where
they
Peter
fail.
Miller comes in.
Well, yeah, but you
that's simple.
Gotta factor it in. It's simple. It's like you gotta factor that in, and if you don't, then it's on you that you haven't done the homework. Surely you know one does hydration test. Have you altered your preparation, or are you just doing the same thing you always do to make weight, which is gonna dehydrate you? You know. Anyway, did you talk about Fairtex deal? No, haven't talked about it yet, but Connor would know more than me. I kind of have been very busy all day, but I
Fairtex
did
is
see it.
the official sponsor of, I believe, just the Friday fight shows now. So all the athletes have to wear Fairtex gear. They can't wear their own gear now, like the shorts and stuff. But I believe they can still put their sponsors on the shorts. I seen
Yeah.
Tazua post about this. He'd probably know more.
Yeah, I saw Nisi posted about it as well, and Giuliano spotted it just from the videos I was uploading. As a fighter, I'm sure he's more attuned to little things like that. I didn't even really notice or care, but I'm sure it does have some kind of ramifications. I'm sure some people are really upset about it for reasons, but to me, shorts are shorts, and it's not like Venom or Reebok and UFC where you can't have your sponsors and stuff. So
as long as you can still have the sponsors, I don't see why it'd be a big issue.
Yeah, I guess maybe some fighters have sponsorship deals with certain sportswear brands, which might be an issue.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised because Fairtex are very much embedded with one. I mean, they have a shop at Lumpini, and they run Fairtex fight events out of out of Lumpini Stadium, and the head of Fairtex Gym is vice president or whatever of One Thailand, so it makes absolute sense. I'm sure some people are upset about it, so let me know what I'm missing. I mean, change is always going to upset people, and I'm sure people will say it's unfair on the A, B, or C. So I'm aware it's going to upset some people, but I think is it as bad as Venom with UFC and Reebok? Doesn't sound like it to me on the face of it.
Because UFC, they don't allow fighters sponsors on their shorts or anything. So in this case, they will. So
Anonymous says this explains why Fairtex fighters automatically win every fight. They don't get knocked out. Fairtex becoming the next Reebok deal sounds effed, Wade says. Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm sure it will rumble on, but this is what it is. Let us know your thoughts if you have any. Flaming Mo using those exclusive emojis that only members of the channel can get. So thanks, Flaming Mo. Thanks to all the members once again for supporting the channel. Helps me pay contributors, helps me pay for flights and things like that too. We got a lot of travel coming up. We got Qatar, Japan, America in May is supposedly happening, and I heard some exciting news for summer, which I did tell Connor off air.
Yeah.
But
Good stuff coming. It's gonna be a good
Yeah.
year this year, as long as champions and contenders make weight, and we don't
yeah,
have this situation every month.
well, I'm glad they booked 2 title fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if this is with hydration tests, this could happen every single card. You could lose your main event in terms of you might still have the fight, but you might lose the title element of it. So good to have two. Tetsuya says, I think they can buy the tester equipment the doctor used to test the piss with. I saw Peter Miller posted a picture of it before. Yeah, you can. You can use the hydration monitors and things like that. Chummy Boy, I thought it was only for Friday. So this is not for Saturday's event, right? The Fairtex stuff. Just
I
for
believe it's
Friday,
just
right?
for Friday fights.
Okay. Anonymous has never seen a fighter with Fairtex lose a decision. I'll try and wreck my brain.
I'm sure that's happened before,
um,
but I think they usually get knocked down or something.
let me know in the chat if you can.
Ferrari Fairtex. I think he lost his last one by decision. Get some Russian.
He lost to Kovtun, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's fighting
There.
this week? Yeah.
Yeah.
But some will say, I think he got knocked down, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And he had a yellow. I don't know if the yellow plays into the points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there have been a few cases yet of Fairtex fighters getting decisions people thought were questionable. So
Yeah, Fairtex and PK Stenachai, I guess, questionable decisions at times. Usually.
I won't go into it too much.
Yeah. Close fights.
Melissa says, another member, thanks Melissa, says, I don't know how we're always having this conversation. The ones who are really determined to will make weight, but they have a contract like any other job. It's on their part to show up properly. That is an element, Connor, isn't it? It's do your job.
Yeah.
But
in some cases, if they're booking them on like 2 weeks notice, expecting them to make weight and hydration, like there's different variables.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. We were talking about it already, yeah. Short notice fights and then not doing catch weights and not punishing people enough for missing, I think.
I remember back in May, didn't they book Samila for like not even like a month out? And
pretty
then she
much
missed
a month,
weight.
yeah.
Yeah, and then she missed weight and they took her belt.
Yeah. And I think she could have turned it down, but she hadn't fought in a while, right? And
that's the problem with one.
Yeah.
They're not offering a lot of fights, so if you get a fight, you take it.
Yeah, I feel like it's starting to come back more regularly now. People getting booked more and more. I hope at least.
Yeah. MMA is making a comeback again.
Yeah. But there was definitely a time where, some people were getting one fight a year. They were lucky, and
some of them weren't even getting a fight a year.
Yeah, and they're not going to say no, right? But if you get a 1 month notice to do a fight, you're going to struggle to make weight. Right. Get some in-house sports science. LC says, make it available to contracted fighters like UFC Performance Institute. Yeah, I'd like to see. I was kind of joking around with Giuliano at the weigh-ins today, and we were saying, one should just hire Pete to take care of everyone, But I think, having some kind of could you have a performance center in one? I don't know. It's too. I think it's too fragmented, the different gyms and the politics and things in Thailand. Maybe they could run something out of Lumpini. I don't know. It doesn't seem possible right now, but yeah, it would be good to have a central base of nutritional advice, things like that, a training area for fighters to work out at for free. But there's so many different things that go into that. I wish one was strict for PDs as they are for making weight. Wade says Russians have a 90% winning chance versus Thais. They're naturally bigger and or juiced. Well, yeah, I'd like to see more openness about the drug testing too, of course. But
They're
then,
very secretive with that.
well, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Some people get upset if you drug test, and they say, "Why are you ruining our sport?" I'm in favor of it. I think you should be as strict as you possibly can with
Yeah.
it.
They should hire have they hired like a professional organization or are they doing it on their own?
They have as far as I know, they got some kind of anti-doping partner who they send samples to, and then the partner tests it, gives them the results. Right. So I don't know if that's different from what the UFC did or does. I feel like
UFC
UFC's
does the they just show up. They knock at your door at any time of the day and
is
just
they still doing
take
that? Because
tests.
I know
I
they
believe so.
changed.
Yeah, they got rid of USADA, but I
Yeah.
assume this
Okay.
new one is still doing similar. That's how you catch people. You have to show up unannounced. If they know you're
Yeah.
coming, then they're gonna plan for that.
Of
If they are
course.
taking stuff, it's the only way to catch people,
Agreed.
unless they're stupid.
Agreed. Do one have the resources or the inclination to do random drug testing year round? That seems like a very expensive thing
Yeah,
to
I don't
send
know if they
someone.
have the manpower or the funds to do that.
Yeah, I think you could enforce it in Thailand, but if we're talking about, we got some bloke in South America, you're gonna send someone to go and test his piss,
Yeah,
unless you have a partner who has a network of agents to do it. Yeah. Right. Will Denise and Aliona be the new main event? Anonymous asks. This is what I was suggesting earlier, Anonymous. I think it should be now. Yeah. Let me look at these comments. Anonymous again. If USADA or someone tested every fighter in one, we'd have scores of suspensions. You never know until you see it, right? Yeah.
it's a lot of big boys in one.
You just don't know. You have to try and assume everyone is innocent till proven guilty, right?
Yeah,
But you'd be naive to think it's not going on. Yeah.
oh, it's definitely going on.
Juice is perfectly legal, Anonymous says again, and easily accessible in Thailand. I suspect most of the fighters that train in Thailand are on something. Can we prove it? Can we disprove it? I don't know. I don't know. There have been some suspensions in one. I think we could definitely do with more transparency, yeah. And I've said it a few times. What I would really like to see brought back was the post-fight weights were made public one time only after a Singapore show in the Prime Video era. I think they say they still do it, but the results aren't public. But there was one time they made those results public, and you could see that Tiffany Teo missed by, well, not missed, but she gained more than the allotted amount you're allowed to gain after they weigh you in after the fight, and then she was outside of that 5% or whatever it was, five. So she got a fine or a warning, and Marat Gregorian was slightly outside the. I think it's something like £5. You can't be heavier than. And Tiffany was like £10 heavier, and she had come down from straw weight, so it kind of makes sense. But you know, within the rules, she came down past hydration. It was fine. But then when you have that post fight weight, it does stop the bigger cuts, and it kind of. I thought it was a great system because it stops anyone doing a huge cut and cheating and or using not cheating, shall we say, like using some tricks to get around, use the loopholes. So I think hydration testing coupled with public post fight weights, not showing people stepping on scale, but like making
Yeah, they
the
should do
data.
that for every fight night and numbered card. Then there'd be no like, oh, he came in like 20 pounds heavier. We'd know
Yeah,
because there'd be stats out. There'd be no
yeah, you'd
speculation.
see like everyone would say, "Oh, Nico Carrillo's a weight bully." We go, "Well, there you go. Here's his signed
Yeah.
form saying he gained less than £5, from his weigh-in day or whatever." There is no way to dispute. You combine those
Yeah.
two things, then I think people would be less angry about the hydration test and things, and I think there would
Yeah.
be less fails, honestly, because I think fighters would know they can't get away with a big drastic cut, even if they're doing it quote unquote safely and within the rules, quote unquote, unquote, quote, whatever you want to say. I would love to see that combination brought back. I think it really would
That
have solved weight cutting.
that would solve a lot of issues with everything. And then
It really
just be
would.
there for
Yeah.
access. Because it's like imagine if John Lineker fought Nabil and Lineker missed, but Nabil made weight. Would people believe that?
I would. Yeah.
But the general public, like looking at that, there's this guy like 6'4" and then 5'2" or whatever. It's like, oh, that guy's 5 pounds heavier than him.
I honestly think Lineker probably walks around heavier. He's just so
Oh yeah,
thick.
he's so
Yeah.
bulky.
Yeah. And he's missed weight probably
Many
up into
times.
double digits now,
Yeah, more times than not, he's missed weight. We pretty
legit.
much
Yeah.
expected at this point.
Yeah. I was kind of sad because I thought he had turned a corner slightly.
Yeah, he goes on these streaks where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's making weight, he's making hydration, and all of a sudden, he misses again.
Yeah, and like, as soon as he came in and it was off, I was like, okay, it's not going to even try. I feel like he wasn't bothered because it doesn't really matter to him, right? I don't think he
Yeah.
wants to get a title in Muay Thai. I think he knows he'd get probably smoked by the top five. Kula Dam is a very
Kulabdam,
interesting test.
so it's a winnable fight, but Lineker versus Superlak or Corello or Nabati, like
Well,
it's
it's not even
not
not even
gonna
close.
go
Yeah,
well.
and Andrade pieced him up twice, and Andrade is elite MMA striking, but not elite
Yeah.
Muay Thai.
Well,
I
Haggerty
think.
smoked him.
Yeah,
Like
there you
that
go.
fight wasn't even remotely competitive.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think Lineker's going to try too hard to make weight. If he's not close to it, I don't think he's going to stretch. And I think fighters tend to speak to each other when they're both struggling, and they kind of make a little
Yeah.
handshake deal and say,
They're
"Well,
like,
you know
let's
what?
just do a catch weight. Let's not bother.
Yeah, I don't really want to go through this. You don't either.
Just take your
Neither of us is gonna."
20% or whatever and fight.
Yeah, so I think you saw that with Dennis and Mahmoudi. They both kind of were talking on the day, and I don't think they intentionally both agree to miss weight. They try. when these situations happen. But then it comes to a point after you've kind of been cutting weight for a few hours and it's not coming off. You're just fed up. You probably reach out to the other guy, and they're struggling. You just say, "Shall we just stop this and do it?" Yeah. Another thing. Anyway, I'm going to read the comments again. Is that fight still on? JK says, could have done Lineker. I don't know. I will find out tomorrow morning for you. And Lineker's still getting booked more than anyone, Chummy says. Yeah, he's exciting, yeah. I'm trying to think the last time he missed weight.
I think it was when Alazov fought back in
Could be.
August of the year 2023.
It feels like a while ago, yeah.
Or did he miss weight for that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
He always missing weight.
Story of the fight says it's an open secret in the UFC. You can go to Thailand or somewhere outside the States for a camp, and they're most likely not going to send someone to test you. There you go. Right. Have we had enough debate about hydration tests?
Probably.
I don't know what else we can talk about. Damn, that time flew by.
There's a couple of fights that got announced.
Yeah. Why don't you enlighten us on this?
Okay. So 170 Impact Arena, Sinsamut is gonna fight Nazel Trujillo. I just butchered that guy's name. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I think he's from Spain.
Yeah. Now that Trujillo.
Yeah. Pretty much a must win for Sinsamut.
Yeah, Trujillo, I think, beat.
He beat Liam Nolan, but then he lost to someone.
Lost to Rung.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost to Rung in August 2023, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, on his debut, but it was very short notice. I think it was. Yeah, he beat Liam, but we haven't seen him for nearly a year. So
yeah,
good to have him back. There's one more, isn't there?
Yeah, and then Dmitry Menshikov is fighting on Friday Fights in February against Tang Kai or something. It's hard to pronounce these names.
Well, yeah. So this one has not been officially confirmed by one,
Yeah, but he says he's fighting him. I saw Tazua post about it.
So
interesting. He's getting demoted to Friday Fights when he's the number one contender against the debutant.
Yeah. Well, if I'm Menshikov, I would feel I feel he's got a right to be upset.
He should be fighting Ursel. He's the number one guy.
Yeah, and he's always kind of he's never getting a bonus, even though he knocks people out. And
yeah, he's so exciting.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's going to be upset with that.
Yeah.
And
then if this guy beats him, what do you do? Let's say he somehow beats him by decision. He just beat the number one contender. Are we going to pretend that this guy is Friday Fights level and not give him a contract like they did the Shadow?
I don't know what week it is in February, but
I think it's mid-February. It might be the 100th show. It probably is. It probably is.
That might not be a huge demotion,
Yeah.
And I'm sure he still gets paid his normal purse. But the problem with that is if you get the knockout, I think he's not going to get his 50K.
He's going to get 350,000 baht, I think.
But I think they have to contractually get the 50K if they get a bonus, even if it's on Friday. So he probably won't. He probably knows he's not going to get a bonus of any kind. So it's just okay, your fight purse.
Well, I've seen contracted fighters fight on Friday fights, and then they just get the 350,000 baht.
But I remember Superpon got 50
Yeah, but that was a
for knocking
temple.
out Joe.
It's different when it's temple.
But I asked him about it in our interview, and I said, "Oh well, 50K. That's nice. It's not 350 baht." And he said, "Yeah, it's my contract." So maybe it's just his contract.
Because I remember a while back, Samapech was on the main event of Friday fights, and he knocked out Cantonar, I think, and he got 350,000 baht. And then his next fight, he's back on the fight night. So
Yeah, maybe there are some fighters who get special treatment,
weird.
others who are happy to take anything. So
I think it factors in if it's a temple or not.
I feel like Semipet's a huge team player and will just do anything.
Yeah, he'll fight
for
anyone.
whatever.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, they say you get 50K or 10, he'll turn up, whatever.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, so 2 fights, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn right, I'm up late. 12:37. So we're gonna cut this off in about 5 minutes. So I don't know what else we can talk about, but face-offs tomorrow. Then Lumpini, busy day, and then yeah.
We're back. Feels like we never left, but
I was having this
Been a little bit.
conversation with someone, Shane Bird, one of the judges. He's like, "How was your Christmas? How was your break?" I was like, "Just didn't really feel like a break." I mean, I said it was good, but yeah, it's just we're already back. I think for people who cover the Fridays, and especially the people here who work every Friday, like at the stadium, it must not have really felt like much of a break. It was 2 or 3 weeks or something, but I think I know. Yeah, when I was doing stuff more for Sportskeeda last year, I only tended to really work once a month, like one event a month. I mean, and I would still do bits and bobs in between, but now I'm kind of covering every Friday fights, whether it's at home or if it's in stadium. So it is relentless, and I'm not complaining. I love it. It's good. I remember that there were some times where you just back at SMP, Tom Taylor and I would be like, we just got nothing to write about. We did a lot more interviews with fighters because we wanted to try and generate news because things just weren't going on.
yeah,
You'd have
that was the
one.
problem back then. They'd do 1 or 2 events, or like on the same day, and then a month break.
Yeah, and
You couldn't
you'd
build
get
momentum that way.
yeah, you'd have a week before the fight where stuff was going on.
And
Week
then
after,
maybe a week after,
yeah,
and then just
there'd be
nothing.
2 weeks every month there. It was just quiet, and I am glad now that there's always something going on to
Yeah.
write about. And Friday fights is generally awesome, and there's always talking points. And if nothing else, there's great action. And there is never a dull day anymore. It's like they released that Sinsummit fight news at 8 p.m. on the dot today. Literally the second the weigh-ins
Yeah.
finished, they send that out. I'm like, Jesus, we need some. I'm busy here.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Come on. I was like, I'm just not even gonna.
They
I
love
have
to
to wait.
announce fights during fight week.
Yeah, I would have probably waited to announce that one until Sunday or something. But
Yeah.
you know, I
I
guess there's an
remember.
element
Yeah.
of like a separation of Thailand and global stuff, but I'm not complaining. I mean, the overall net positive of having stuff to write about and cover is better than having nothing, right?
Yeah. We'd rather have too much than not enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's. I've been on the other side of it where it's just tumbleweeds, and you really struggle to find things to talk about, especially on shows like this, live shows. Now I know every single live show I do there's going to be something to talk about, and often we got 10 things to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, today we've just talked for an hour and a half about
The
weight cutting.
weigh-ins,
Yeah.
weight cuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, any other announcements you could share, official Louis? Oh, nothing I can share publicly, but yeah, I heard some cool news today. A couple of things, which I'm sure you'll hear about soon.
Big things coming up.
Yeah, just good stuff all around. But I can't. I'm not at liberty to divulge yet. Because obviously people tell me stuff, but if I then blurt that out on a live stream, I'm kind of betraying their confidence, and a that would make me a shitty person as well as a reporter. But also, they're never going to tell me anything again, and you gotta balance it all. But you know me, I always find information that I can share, and if I can share, I will share, and you'll hear it from me. Just like my exclusive about Superbon being the new champ, my 45-minute exclusive before one then published it. Dmitry Menshikov going to be robbed for another bonus, Vegan says. Um, is Tang Kai, Finesse asking, is Tang Kai fight still on? I imagine so. I don't think Abdullaev he was under the limit, I think, or on weight, bang, just about. So I think after he drank a lot of water, he'll probably be within that 5% extra, whatever it is, 105. So I feel like Tang Kai is not going to turn that down.
No.
Interview Rasahina. Anonymous asks, I've tried, but they tend not to give me anyone on media day who doesn't speak English because they don't have translators here other than Thai translators, or if the fighter has a coach or someone or corner who can speak English and they're kind enough to do it, I can interview them. So that does happen sometimes. But yeah, this time they do have them at the events, so I'm sure I can grab Rasahina after if she beats Denise. I would love to. I've never interviewed her, so that'd be fun. Oof. Right. Where's my dog, Vegan ass? I'm not at home. I'm in Thailand, Vegan Crane. I'm in a hotel, the beautiful Best Western Wonder Plus, which at some point I'm going to sit down and figure out how many hours, days of my life I've spent here over the last 2 years. Because we're coming up, I think this week is literally, the 2-year anniversary of my first visit to this very hotel. And my first visit to my first one event in Bangkok actually was 2 years ago, Chingiz and Superbon, Impact Arena. Little did I know I'd be back here almost every month for the next 2 years of my life. And again, not complaining. I love it. It's like a home away from home. Yeah. But definitely excited to get back going to some more cities, countries outside of Thailand. This year feels like that's a possibility. We've got Doha, Saitama coming up, and more. Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting
Right.
times.
Exciting times. Damn, kind of pissed he missed weight. I thought Abdullaev was going to win as well. Finesse. Yeah. It's a shame. And Akbar is, I'm sure, feeling pretty down right now. Story of the fight says, a scoop junkie. I've never heard this phrase. I respect the integrity. A lot of combat sports journalists just care about the clicks, not the truth. If they report something, you never have to question it. I don't know about that,
Facts.
but scoop junkie. I guess I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm not gonna try and just. There are some MMA reporters I think who I won't name who just want to. They feel they have to break news and they'll undercut whoever they can get to do it, even if it's not true or if it's not their news. And I'm sure I've been like that in the past, but I'm in just a lucky spot, comfortable place where I I don't know. I'm just confident in I just do what I want to do and what feels right to me, and it seems to work, and people seem to like it. So I don't feel I'm not under pressure to kind of chase ambulances, you know what I mean, and um, post salacious content. I feel for some outlets and media like they have to post clickbait, they have to frame things in that annoying, shitty way where it's like so the worst word I hate in a headline is revealed. It's like something has been revealed by this person. Click to see more. It's like if you're putting that in a headline, it's like, I feel for people who have to do that, and I think there's been a collective move in society towards thinking we all need to do that, and no one actually will click on an article that's not that framed that way. But I have more faith in humanity that you can still actually frame news in a real way. Maybe I'm naive, but I think
Yeah.
it's if you're skilled enough reporter writing about interesting things, you don't need to go down that route. And if you're a skilled editor, you can frame it in a way that's still intriguing anyway.
There's a lot of fake media out there that just want the views and the clicks. You'll see all those people. I won't name names, but there's all those people that will post certain fights and it'll just say per sources.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah.
I mean, per source sounds sexy, you know. But I use it, but only if I do actually have a source.
Yeah.
I've
Not
never
just
made up
a
a
source.
scoop or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they'll miss, like, they'll get so many fights wrong, and they'll get one fight right, and they'll be like, oh, I told you.
Those people actually exist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All the time.
I mean, I hear people saying it, but I just luckily don't
Yeah.
have anyone. I don't see that on my timeline. I
There's
guess I don't follow
someone
them.
that does it for, like, UFC all the time, and he'll be like, Volkanovski versus Ilya confirmed for February. And it's, like, not even announced. And then
Uh,
eventually he'll get one right, and then he'll post about it, be like, oh, I told you. I was the first source after doing 100
uh,
other fight announcements.
it's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah. Whenever
This
you
happens
see
a lot.
per sources, I immediately assume this is fake news.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to question why this person would have sources,
Yeah.
and not have a job,
Yeah.
as a reporter at a reputable outlet.
They just
You
want the
know,
attention. That's all it is.
yeah, I mean, unless you're very well connected to a fighter or someone who knows that fighter, you're not going to get that kind of information unless you actually have a reputation for being fair and honest and truthful. So, shout out to all the people doing it the right way. People like that, just ignore them, I would say. And
Yeah.
I think it's a shame. But, everyone wants to be popular and have a fan base and
They
grow
all love
their.
the attention. They'll post
Yeah,
and do anything to get it.
I get it. Yeah, it's a good feeling, having the dopamine hits of yeah, all getting new followers, getting shares, this and that. So, but you have to have boundaries and standards and do it the right way, I believe. But, oh, that's the whole other debate. Um, sounds like a rough few days. You want me to bring me a coffee? Yes. Are you gonna be there, Angie? Hit me up if you are. We'll definitely catch up. It has been a rough few days, as always. Not rough, and it's been fun and great. Just yeah, rough work hours. Flat out as usual, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm very lucky to do it. Would I rather not have this job and just sit at home, or like do an office job I hate? Absolutely not. This is living the dream, to be cliched. It doesn't feel like work, honestly. That's another cliche, but it's definitely can be tiring. All good. Per sources, Anonymous had the day off work today. Rodeng and me, the super fight, and it's not such a super fight, finesse.
When did that get leaked?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Jeez, that was a big reveal. They were gonna announce that at Impact.
Yeah, I don't think that would sell out. Story of the fight. Our channel would be much bigger if we followed that path, but it's too slimy. Yeah, this is why I respect Story of the Fight and combat sports today. A lot of the guys in the chat who have their own channels and beyond kickboxing as well. I think they all do it the right way, and I think that is something to be proud of. And I think that in the long run reflects, and you'll get the growth you deserve if you do it that way. Honestly, I do think that you could do the quick fix and get the
Yeah. You're gonna
the
get a
cheap
quick
fix.
surge, and then people are gonna realize, and then you're done.
Absolutely. And then you tend, if you follow that kind of path, you tend to like cross someone anyway and piss people off. And
It's just
you know,
downward spiral after that.
yeah. But also, you gotta be, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, well, I do.
Yeah.
For me, it's fun to be ethical.
You don't want to be
So,
looking at yourself in the mirror every day thinking, I'm a fraud.
I do that in many other regards, but at least with my work, not. Yeah. Panda and Unstoppable. I miss you so much. Vegan says that is Zhong Jingnan and Angela Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Well, Angela's out, but Zhong is very much still active, and hopefully she gets a fight soon. NG, thanks. Yeah, DM me tomorrow. I'm gonna get some sleep very soon. It's coming up on 1 a.m. I've
Jeez.
got my melatonin with me. I remembered to bring my melatonin this time. It's fantastic because I'm normally very wired. I'm dead after these long days, but then I just can't fall asleep because my brain is just a couple of melatonins knocked me out. I'll be taking that now. Right. Nick versus Mr. Wong Fairtex. Again, he's gonna kick my ass probably. Story of the fight. I tell myself I'm a fraud, and my wife tells me the dinner I made was good. I think Will's probably a very good chef. I can sense it. He's a very good analyst and a good guy. Right. That's it. Connor, anything else from you?
No, just excited that we're finally back for one. Now tomorrow, double event. Good year. Hopefully this will be the best year yet for one. It's highly anticipated. Lots of
Yeah.
big things coming up. More to be
So,
announced.
just burped. It might have been audible. Yeah, big year. Hopefully, well, we know we've got 3 big months coming up, so
Yeah.
we're kicking off a pretty crazy run here.
Pretty much 2 big events every month,
Yeah,
at least.
plus
Plus like temp poles and the 100th Lupini.
yeah. So 8, I would say 8 big events in 3 months.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, there we go. And more to come, it sounds like.
Yeah. And more weigh-in drama. Hopefully not. But it's pretty much inevitable.
Yeah, to recap, 6 fighters missed weight. Akbar Abdullaev among them, sadly. So title fight is not a title fight really on Saturday now. 1 fight at 27 should still be a fun one. So hopefully people tune in still. It's still I think a great fight.
Yeah.
Official Louis has an award to receive on Saturday, but he's skipping it to C1. So hopefully Kulab Dam and Lineker stay on. Yeah. So I'll get the word as soon as I wake up. I'll try and chase up what's happening with all those fights, and I'll get the news out to you guys in whatever avenue I can, whether it's social media, article. But it's going to be a hectic day. Face-offs, 12 o'clock here. Then Lumpini, not too long after that for Friday Fights 93. It's all go in Bangkok. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Connor, for jumping on with
Thank
me.
you for having me.
What do you got? Yeah, no, thanks. Appreciate it. You got anything planned today over in Florida?
I'm meeting some friends who have been away for a couple months at Disney,
Okay,
going for a meal. So it's pretty
sweet,
exciting.
sweet.
Yeah.
What a day.
Yeah.
Great start to the day, a podcast, and now Disney action. Okay,
Yeah. Living the dream, as they say.
absolutely. Well, everyone go follow Connor if you haven't already. You can see it on his handle there at 1FC Connor. And you can get me on my handle at Nick Atkin 1. We'll be back in some form maybe next week, I'm sure. How
Yeah.
did you find it? It's your third podcast, Connor. You enjoy it?
Great. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun to come on here and chat all of the drama with one because
Yeah.
there's certainly a lot of drama every week.
Always. Well, yeah, maybe we'll get you back on. I'll be doing something on Monday.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
be down.
see. Yeah.
Hopefully the fights all go well and there's not another no contest.
Yeah. Well, I'll try and jump on with Story of the Fight as well on their show, Sunday night America time, if they are doing a recap. So you probably won't hear from me until then in terms of podcasts, but hope you enjoyed this one. And let's see. Now's the fun part. The fights start tomorrow night. We're going to have 36 crazy hours. So enjoy it, everyone, and see you next time. Right.